That's a big old cat.
Internet, that cat. The internet loves cats.
Lucy
Do the intro bit.
Why am I doing the intro bit for your channel?
You've always done the intro bits for the Moarhammer videos. Do the intro bit. I like it when you do the intro bit.
It's weird, I don't know how to start. How do you start?
Do you want me to do it?
Well, yeah, I think you should. I think you're now invested in this.
Hello. I forgot my thing. Where's my thing? Oh no. Edit. Welcome to the channel and welcome to this sit and talk video. This is like a continuation of the Moarwinters series that's available on Moarhammer YouTube channel. This is Liam from Moarhammer YouTube channel. If you haven't seen him yet, he's been on the channel a couple of times for some battle reports. This is his thing. This is his beard. And he's doing a series of videos where we sit down and talk about stuff. And I think we're up to number 7 or 8 on Moarhammer.
Yeah, something like that.
And what's happened recently is you on one of the Moarhammer videos said that your patrons are asking you some questions.
Yeah.
And that we were attempting to answer them.
Yeah, we don't do very well at that.
We don't answer questions very well. And then I got some questions from my patrons saying, well, why can't we do that? Because I have some patrons as well. Thank you for supporting me. Really appreciate it. And there's a Discord chat room, which is exclusive to just some patrons. And so some of them said, can we ask some questions? And I said, yes, of course you can. You're patrons. I love you very much. Thank you for the support. So I set up a thing on there and said, ask some questions. And then I got about 1,000 of them. But I didn't. I got about 20 of them. And some of them are actually editable and you can put on the internet. Some of them not so much.
Oh, okay. I think we've had a couple of the not so much ones. But not
yeah.
So, but I remember one of the patrons did message me on WhatsApp and went, Winters has got a more Winters questions page now as well. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because a couple of my patrons are, yeah. Well, no, not really. This is how YouTube works. We all bleed off of each other, right?
It's one big family.
It's one big happy family. Well, there's a couple of weird uncles that we don't talk to, but most of us are a big happy family and all bleed off of each other and all talk to each other and all communicate with each other and it all works out well in the wash, I think. Maybe.
Yeah,
I think it does.
Mostly. A bit.
So I'm talking about YouTube. I'm basically stealing your idea, essentially. Well, this is Moarwinters is a series on your YouTube that you're known for doing.
But some of your guys don't come across to my channel, so it's nice to give them a chance as well.
That's exactly what I thought. So what I thought is it's doing well on your stuff, and people like sit and talky stuff. So let's do a sit and talky one on Winter's channel, answering some questions from the patrons. Now, disclaimer, we very rarely answer the questions.
We start to. We do start to.
And then we'll go and talk about world hunger or something. Really good.
Yeah, or preferences.
Or
randomly.
Cat videos, I don't know. So there are some questions. This is going to be weird as well because I'm going to say the question and fire it that way rather than this way.
Yeah, and I'll be rubbish at answering it, whereas you could talk for half an hour straight.
It shouldn't be Moarwinters. This should be called Moarhammer.
No, because you need to be in the title. That's how it does well.
I'm going to call it just a sit and talk.
You call it whatever you want. It's your channel.
Sit and talk with Liam. Well, there's some questions here. Let's start with the most asked, thumbed up question. Ask Liam about his beard care routine.
Do you know how often I get asked that question?
I don't know. 3?
People think.
28.
Well, I was asked. Yeah, probably
it is
at the higher end. People think that this is just being lazy. And I thought it was just being lazy.
It is being lazy. So just shave that down.
I was in the military for 10 years and we had to shave every day. So I did. So when I left, after a little while I went, I can, so why wouldn't I? And I started growing this beard. And it gets to this horrible itchy stage. I don't know if you've ever got that far through.
I can't grow beards, they just turn into tufts and stuff.
I kept getting rid of it.
I have thick follicles.
And then one day I just powered through, got through the itchy stage, and now I'm at this stage. And I got told off by a hairdresser, honest to God. I went to a barber shop. I had my hair cut. I said, can you do a beard trim as well? I'm in a barber's. And she was like, yeah, I can do that, not a problem. She started trimming it and she said, do you oil it? Do I what? I said, do you oil your beard? I said, no. She said, do you condition it? There's this whole thing you're supposed to do. I never knew. I must have had like birds and food in it or something.
Yeah.
And so now I have to shampoo and condition it every morning when I in the shower and comb it through, and then twice a day I have to comb it and oil it with a special beard oil to make sure it doesn't get all matted and horrible, and it stays with a bit of a shine and it stays nice and soft. Otherwise it gets really coarse and horrible. Apparently she doesn't like that, especially on the thighs.
Why would your beard be near her thighs?
Piggybacks. Or your kids in the shoulder. That's what we do. That's what it is. So there is. I have to condition it once a day and dry it and then oil it twice and comb it through maybe 3 or 4 times.
So it's not a lazy thing.
It's
takes
worse.
More effort.
I used to shave once in the morning and that's done for the day. That was it.
It's easier shaving than it is growing a beard.
Yes. Now you're going to say to me, why haven't you got rid of it?
No, I know why you haven't got rid of it.
Why?
Because you will lose your superpowers.
That's exactly what it is. You'll notice that YouTube didn't exist for me until I had this beard.
Yeah. I don't even know what your face looks like under there.
Don't want to. It looks really funny.
Is it horrifying?
Yeah, it's not nice.
Do you have like a really 3 chins or something?
About 7, I think.
I've got 2 chins.
Nowadays, I think I have about 7. I have a horrendous overbite, you see, so my jaw sits really far back. So without a beard, my face just goes straight into neck, and there's no transition.
I'm pretty chinless, to be fair. Thank you for answering about your beard care routine.
I didn't think I could talk for 2 minutes about it, let alone.
I know that you can talk for at least 5 minutes about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh look, a pussy.
Yeah.
What is it? I hope the microphone picked that up.
It will.
Hello P90. You coming up here? Do you want to be on TV? No, you don't, because Liam's weird. Right, okay. Are we... What?
Thanks for that.
No,
on.
weird
Next
nice
question.
one.
Yeah, of course.
That's
No, all right. I
Right.
come up here all this way.
What do you listen to while you paint?
I'm a heavy metal person, if it's music.
Okay. You don't listen to Bat Reports?
Yeah. I said if it's music.
Ah.
You didn't let me finish.
Okay.
So if I'm listening to music, I'm a heavy metal person. But if I've got YouTube on in the background, which is more often than not, I watch a multitude of channels.
Yeah.
And even more so now, because I've just started doing battle reports myself, and I've done 3. I now watch near enough anything that's battle report related that comes up on YouTube that I find, just as like market research to see what people do that I like, what people do that I don't like. So
what do people do that you don't like?
So I very quickly established that I hate short form battle reports.
Hate them.
So the ones you did originally.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I prefer them.
Do you?
I like
even now.
Form. Yeah.
I don't. I fully understand short form for movement phase. I think every channel does that.
And there's a chunk of people that prefer short form as well. There's a chunk, a percentage. I don't know what the percentage is. I know the percentage of people who prefer short form battle reports are less than the people who prefer the full dice rolling battle reports because the figures prove it.
Yeah, so
But there are some people who definitely prefer it, and there's some people who are quite fanatical about it. But why hate them?
I don't hate. Maybe hate's a strong word, but I won't watch them. That's how much I don't like them. I don't watch them because I don't. I think one of the things I like about watching battle reports personally is that some channels have this innate ability to make you feel like you're kind of there hanging out with them whilst they're playing the game. Now, if you're watching a short form, although the bonus is you can watch it in 20 or 30 minutes, the problem I've got is I don't feel like I'm there hanging out with them.
Oh, right, okay.
So when there's not tense, what's the word I'm looking for? When there's tension in a game, and you know someone needs to roll a 6 or needs to roll a 2 or needs to, or whatever it is, and they need to roll a 2+ and they get that 1, and you watch that dice roll happen, and you watch their live reaction to it.
Yeah.
I love that because I think that adds to the atmosphere for watching
Perils
that
of the warp, someone's brain goes pop. It's
exactly.
Like, no.
Or you get that random one model that really shouldn't be taken on that Hive Tyrant, and then he manages
Somehow.
to... Yeah, exactly. I love that stuff. And I just feel like from short form battle reports, I think you don't feel that same tension.
Yeah.
And
when
you kind of miss
Jenkins fires his las gun and the Hive Tyrant's got 2 wounds left and they both hit and they both wound and the Hive Tyrant fails the wound and Trooper Jenkins takes him down.
Or that you've got that Skitari dude who took down a Titan.
Yeah.
GSO1. GSO1.
Godslayer 01.
See? Exactly.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't get that if you skip all that stuff.
Told you I named them only when they do great stuff. And he took out a
So that's why one thing I don't like is I don't like short form.
I think the reason why let's say I prefer short form. I'm thinking about old school short form because I started watching battle reports when they first appeared on YouTube. And back then, apart from Mini Wargaming, who had a camera and the whole shebang, and then a bit later striking Scorpion. The only people putting up battle reports are people like Elder Corsair and Bella Lost Souls, and a couple of other people, and most of them were filming on their phone. And most of the phone's memories back then, and they were doing CD cases and lumps of rock and unpainted miniatures, and most of the phone's filming capability was max 10 minutes. So when I say short form, I mean short form.
Who films on
I remember when they went longer than 10 minutes and went to about 12 or 13 minutes when the iPhone, whatever it was, came out. And you had a bunch of videos. So they were short form. They were like this and this and this and this, and then this happened. I really used to like Elder Corsair's one. I could feel him rushing through it before his phone memory went, no more. And they were 8 to 12 minutes long, and they were beautiful.
The first channel I think I ever started watching was Mini Wargaming.
Yeah.
And they're obviously mostly long form, pretty much. The one thing I will say I don't like about Mini Wargaming, and there isn't a lot, but one thing I don't like about Mini Wargaming is they I don't think they still do it, I haven't watched anything for a while, but they show the movement phase. They edit it, so they'll show you moving one or two of the squad, and then the next thing you know the whole squad's moved.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
I don't like that. That's the one part I do like short form, and I would rather someone stood there, because I don't know about you, when I have a movement phase, I will measure things and judge what I'm going to try and do that turn, and you're basically working out your battle tactics during that movement phase, aren't you, for pretty much the whole turn. Yeah. So that can take a while. But the good thing is, once you've worked out your battle tactics and done your movement phase, you're happy with what you think is you want to try and achieve over the next shooting, psychic, and assault phase. Yeah. So I like it when that's done.
So the movement phase is also the thinking phase.
Essentially, I think, yeah. And I like it when I film people and I can film them and say to them, "Why have you done this?" Yeah. And they can explain it and I like when people do that for me. Yeah. Because I get more of an idea or an insight as to why they've done what they've done, and they might do something. And if you were to just see it, you go, "Why have you done that?" But if they can explain it, well, I've done this because of X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. And I've got tips from videos about how to use certain units. Okay. So I do like long form, but I don't like long form movement phases. That's got to be short. Okay. And I'm massive on there being some kind of narrative to what's going on. I loved being on Visicast, and the stuff that John kicked out when he was doing battle reports was incredibly professional.
It was very
expensive equipment, polished. Really nice, really polished. Yep. One thing I think he lacked slightly, if I was to be overly critical of him, was there wasn't much narrative to it, and people could lose interest in the game. Yeah. And I have that. I lose interest if there's no narrative.
Yeah. Okay. So there wasn't much narrative to it. He had the banter down there.
Ah, spot on.
And there's some channels out there who the stuff where they say this is shooting that, and then this is shooting that, and then that's assaulting that. That I get turned off quite quickly when it's just A, B, C. You want to be invested in. You want to either hear a story or see the banter between. Like you said, there's two things. There's one, be stood in the room with them, so you're almost having the game, sharing the game experience with them. That's a big one. Two is the story. Are you invested in the story?
Exactly.
And some channels don't do either. Some channels do one or the other. And some channels, very few of them, do both.
I'm trying to do both. It's hard. But what I have learned...
it's the thinking through. So you're playing a game, and you're pointing the camera, and you're trying to remember the rules, and and then you think, right, now I'm going to present this with the camera turned on, and add some banter, and think about that sergeant that sergeant just isn't shooting that with his unit. That sergeant is moving to sell his soul and obstruct the charge that's coming around this way. And if he stops that light brigade, he stops the light brigade and holds the flank. And if he doesn't, then they'll come swarming through. And remembering these little things, remembering these little stories and tales and these little twists of heroics on the battle grid while you're filming.
And I don't know about you.
It's brain melting.
I always have it in my mind whilst I'm filming. I'm always thinking to myself, how is this going to look on camera? Right. So I'm always picturing the end product whilst I'm filming it.
I know what you mean because I used to be like that, but I've been doing it for a while now.
You're probably quite natural.
I can turn that with the camera part of it. I can turn my brain off now.
I'm not there yet. I've done 3. Yeah. So I won't be there for a little while.
Yeah. I think it's the 10,000 hours, isn't it, to become an expert or something. And I think after you've done, I don't know, maybe 50 or 100 videos, then you not that I'm an expert by any means, but I am familiar with the camera and what I'm trying to do while I'm trying to tell the story. So also the other thing about it is quite annoying is I'm looking through the screen of the camera because I'm telling the story through the camera, and
See, I do this badly.
So if you look past it and you look around, then sometimes you might be narrating about something that's not on the camera, or this, that, and the other. So using the scan, so it's really close to my face. And well, you've seen me film a couple of battle reports. I'm looking through the screen, and that's sometimes why I get some of the dice rolling wrong. So I say, oh, it's 4 hits, and then go and pick it up, and someone say, oh no, 5 hits. Okay, it's 5 hits.
Yeah, I do that really badly as well. At times I've done it. So the last battle report, and I started telling a story about something, and I'd forgotten to take the camera with me.
Nice.
So I was pointing over here, and when I realised, I had to stop, delete, start all over again.
Oh, I'm stopping and deleting and re-editing all the time. So I got a question only recently by a dude saying, do you film it all in one hit? I'm like, no. My
last battle report was 278 clips.
That's a high number of clips.
Because I'll do seconds of clips, 3 or 4 second clips at times, and mash them together.
How much of your footage makes it to the final cut?
Most.
Yeah, about 90% for me.
Yeah, most. One thing I did learn, actually, and I learned this from watching games whilst painting. When you're watching a game, if you're watching a game you like whilst painting, you're listening more, obviously, than watching, because you're painting.
Yeah.
Now, when I started doing battle reports, one of the things that really intimidated me was I wanted to be really good with narrative and tell a story.
Yeah.
And I think I've got quite a creative brain for telling a story.
Yeah.
What I don't have, compared to you, is the knowledge of the background and lore as much as I would like to. I have a very busy life with kids and a long-term job, and I'm now doing this. I haven't got time to sit and read books. And I've got one of these minds that I get bored after 30 seconds really quickly. I have to have multiple projects on my painting desk because I'll get bored of one colour and have to switch model. And I'm like that when it comes to reading. I can't do it because I get bored and I turn off, and then I'll put the book down and I'll come back to that book 3 weeks later, and I might as well start again because I've lost where I was. So I thought I needed to have all this knowledge of the lore and the background to be good at storytelling.
You don't really.
You don't have to have anything, I don't think.
No.
If you've got a rough idea of the galaxy and how that works, and the races and how they work, you can make it up as you go along. You don't have to know a planet name, you can make that up.
No.
You don't have to know an engagement that's popular, you can make that up. You can make it all up, as long as you can tell that story.
I think it will help to have, I think the minimum you need, you don't need any of it, but something that you would need that could help. Something that could help would be the background in the codex. If you've got that, the narrative in the codex, you'll be fine. You'll be golden.
No, I can read.
All the extra stuff, all the Black Library stuff is just, cherries on the cake.
Codex narrative is 1 to 2 pages, and they move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
So that I can keep interest in that. That's easy.
Yeah.
Horus heresy novels. What I've started doing actually now is I'm listening to them as audiobooks when I drive to and from work.
Yeah.
Because it just my phone plugged into my car just picks up where I left off.
And they're so good.
And they are good. I mean, I know audiobooks, they remove some of the content, don't they, from the normal books?
About 75% of the finished book gets in the audio.
But you get most of the story from it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So I'm now listening to the whole Horus Heresy series as audiobooks.
Yeah, that's good.
It's lore, which is important.
It's lore, and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's good to listen to, right?
Yeah, so I never knew.
To me, it's a way of enjoying the 40k universe again. It's a different way of enjoying it. So if you like battle reports and you enjoy it that way, if you enjoy playing the game, then you like it that way. If you want to immerse yourself in this universe more, one of the ways that you can do it, there's no movies or TV shows on Netflix for it. One of the ways you can do it is listen to an audiobook or read a book.
Yeah, of course. And I'm a history person. I like listening about history to work out where or why people or races or whatever are the way they are. So the Horus Heresy for me is quite important because essentially it is our background history to 40k on why we're where we are. For example, I'm currently listening to Fulgrim. I never knew that Fabius was given permission by Fulgrim to attempt, spoiler by the way, because we did this before and someone told us off.
Spoiler, pause for 2 minutes, skip, go.
Yeah, I never knew that Fabius was basically given permission by Fulgrim to essentially rip apart the Adeptus Astartes gene seed, learn about how it's constructed, and try and take samples from other races and work out how he can implement them into the... What was it? Was it Interax? No, it wasn't Interax, was it? Laeron. They were on Laeron.
Yeah.
And he had the Lair samples, didn't he? On his...
Yeah, they're the ones with the music stuff. The music.
Yeah.
The music. But what happened is this isn't a spoiler, but the Horus Heresy starts in a direct path. Yeah, we've got the first book, second book, third book, up to the Flight of the Eisenstein. It all follows. Yeah. Fulgrim, it starts going off at a weird angle, but finishes on Isfam 5.
Yeah.
Drops like Massacre, and it's already split, and then after that it goes off in all sorts of different directions and tells you. So this is something for you guys there wondering about whether to read Black Library Horus Heresy. Read the first chunk of books, the first 4 books. After that point, it then tells you stories that happened during the Horus Heresy or before, such as with the First Heretic, which is set like 70 or 90 years before. And a lot of people cite the First Heretic as one of their most favourite books.
I've heard that.
It's my least favourite book.
Oh, really?
Yes, because it's got Lorgar in it. Hashtag blame Lorgar. If you're
Hashtag.
If you're a Black Library Horus Heresy fan, you know what that means. If you're not, if you do know out there, guys, most chunk of you will know what hashtag blame Lorgar means. Those that don't, that's fine, but it's all his fault. If they go off and so you got the First Heretic, then you got the stuff about the Dark Angels, then you got the stuff about the White Scars, then you got, and it goes off in and has chapters of events that occur during the Horus Heresy. You've got Alpha Legion, which is set before. You've got Nemesis, which is one of my favourites. Nemesis is one of my favourites. And then it sort of snaps back together later. And it snaps back together at Fulgrim, No Fear, Betrayer, Imperium Secundus, which is about 3 or 4 years later. And when I read all of those chunks of books ending in Pharos, I went then all the way back to the beginning and read them all the way through again, because it starts like this and then it splits up all over the place. And I think it's about 3 or 4 or 5 years before it snaps back together in real time for us. That's how long it was. And by the time it snapped back together, I'd forgotten, or not forgotten, I couldn't remember as accurately some of the motivations for some of the main characters. And so when you got the Night Lords going up against the Ultramarines, or not, you got the Word Bearers and the Ultramarines at Calth, but the Night Lords pop into the picture in quite a big way. And there's some characters that pop up there, and I'm thinking, I can't remember this guy particularly, and he seems really cool. So
let's go
I went back to the beginning again and read it all the way through again. But there is one book in the Horus Heresy that I've read 4 times, because I read it, and it was so good. I read it again. And that's No Fear.
Yeah, that's a big popular one as well. A point to note on the Heresy, you don't actually need to read the first 4 books. There's a lot of books out there in the Heresy that will tell you how your Primarch was aligned with your Legion eventually and how he was discovered.
You don't need to read the first 4 books, but I would always recommend to someone read the first 4.
I would, but what I'm saying is...
The third one's a bit weak, but the first one's good, the second one's good, the third one's a bit weak, the fourth one's really good, Flight of the Eisenstein, and then stop.
I think Flight of the Eisenstein's better than the third one.
Which
is not False Gods, Galaxy in Flames.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you've got a chapter that you like, if you're a Dark Angels fan or whatever, you can go and find the books, Descent of Angels, for example, and you can read that book about your Primarch, and you only need a very vague understanding of what happened in the Heresy.
Absolutely.
To be able to understand that book.
Read the first 4, go and find your books concerning... I'm 100% certain that in a year or two's time, or even sooner, they will anthologise, if that's such a word, these series later on. So they'll have the Blood Angel stuff, and it'll have all the Blood Angels books and all the other, because they do novella, the small books as well, shoved in there. And then the White Scars, because the White Scars, most of them are trilogies now. You've got the White Scars trilogy with the novellas shoved in there. You've got the Dark Angels. If you're a Dark Angels fan, I'm sorry. It's really bad stuff. But you're stuck.
Maybe don't read it.
That you're stuck with that. But for all other fans of the Legions, read the first 4, find out where your chapter is, find out which books they're in, and read them in the novellas, and that's it. And then come back to the halfway through the Horus Heresy, which is starts off with No Fear, and then Betrayer, then Imperium Secundus, that one, where it snaps back together again. And they said, the Black Library authors said they purposely did that. They purposely wanted to mark a midpoint or a turning point. So everyone is... Because all the authors had their responsibilities and duties to write about their chapters and flesh out the whole of the Horus Heresy, which they did over many, many, many years. And most of them hits, some of them weren't, and some of them were trash. But they did it, and in most cases they did it really well. And then they were told, right, let's get everyone back together and let's make sure we're still on the same page and going in the same direction before we launch towards the end game. And they did that, and they did it well. And so those collection of books around Ultramar and the Mark of Calth and all that lot, They're as pivotal and as good as the first chunk.
Yeah.
So
okay, which is good.
You need the first chunk, you need those chunks around Calth, and then you just need the bits about your legion.
The first chunk is awesome.
The Imperial Fist or the White Skulls or whatever your legion is. And just that's it. That's all you need. I would skip unless you're really, really, really want to dive into it. I would skip all the other stuff. I'd focus on your legion. Do the first bit. Do the Calth bit.
A good friend of mine up until about 6 months ago hadn't listened or watched or read any of the Horus Heresy stuff at all. Yeah. And I said to him, "You need to give it a go." And he started on book 1, as probably you should. And he fired through the first 3 books in no time at all. And he went, "This story is." He said, "I was never interested in the heresy. I was only interested in 40k." He said, "This story is so good, and some of the writing in there is so good. You Dan Abnett's and people like that.
Yeah,
awesome stuff."
Bodhi Dempskin, Aaron Bowden Demps, that guy.
Yeah, Dembski Bowden.
Yeah, him. I like Ben Cat as well.
But the question was, what do I listen to?
There was another one actually. Before we go back to that, there was also a question about favourite Horus Heresy book. I think we covered that. It wouldn't be one; it'd be a chunk. Go. What do you listen to?
Well, so what was going to summarise was sometimes music, mostly YouTube and battle reports and stuff like that. I do like to listen to your Codex reviews and stuff like that come out.
Okay.
Some of Striking Scorpius Codex reviews, because you don't need to see that because you can't show images anyway, can you? Really?
Not really.
You show some artwork and stuff. What I'm interested in is the rules.
I got told off.
Yeah.
More than once.
Battle reports, are there a good narrative behind them? And sometimes the audiobooks, the problem is from the audiobooks listening to those was painting is they can be quite involved, and if you don't pay attention to them, you can miss important pivotal moments.
So do you find that you only listen to 40k, mainly listen to 40k related content when you're doing 40k stuff? Well, it's YouTube. You've got the whole world on your phone. And so,
and there is some rubbish on it.
One of the things I do like to watch on TV when I'm not doing 40k is I like the UFC. So I'll listen to Joe Rogan podcasts.
I had a go at that once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did people kick you in the head?
I did. That's why I stopped. I didn't like getting punched in the face. That's why I stopped.
Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't like getting punched in the face, so I gave that one up quite quickly.
Yeah, getting punched in the face for money, that's a hard way to make a living.
I did years of judo and jiu-jitsu, and then I thought, I'll give MMA a go. Little did I know, of course, you need a striking game as well. I did not have a striking game.
No?
So I stopped that.
But you could kick people?
Not with judo and jiu-jitsu.
No?
It's mostly grappling and strangles and arm locks and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing taekwondo.
Right.
So, or trying to, badly. So,
and can you kick people in that?
I can, yeah.
Nice, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's edit this for a second.
If you message me again, it'll come from my watch.
Yeah. Back again. Wife just left. Going to tea. Afternoon tea.
Without you as well?
Yeah. Well, her friend my wife's best friend moved in like a few doors down. Anyway, so one of the things I've also been listening to is, are you aware of something called Hardcore History, Dan Carlin?
No. No.
So I would recommend checking that out. So just Google Hardcore History. He's not a historian. He's got like a history major, some American. And he was a journalist for like 17 years. Joe Rogan got me onto him. And he recommended the best podcast he's ever heard, according to Joe Rogan, was something called The Wrath of the Khans, about Genghis Khan. And he said, you absolutely have to listen to this. So I listened to it. It's about 6 hours long. It is awesome. Just what these guys getting up to, the beheading, the cannibalism. They reckon 10% of the global population got wiped out by Genghis Khan.
Oh, wow.
These guys would, when they were a bit peckish and there was no food on the steppes, would mix the milk from the horses in with the blood of the horses. They would drain them and drink these blood milkshakes.
Lovely.
And there's something like a certain percentage of all the world's population is directly related to Genghis Khan because he did that much raping. It's like 1 in 100 people or 1 in 1,000 people. I forget what it is. But, if you have a football stadium with people, then there's a few thousand people in there who've got Genghis Khan's DNA because he did that much raping and pillaging. Oh, so wow. He wiped out like 10%. It's one of the world's big... Imagine if 10% of the world's population died now. It was a global genocide. So I listened to that. Thought, thank you, Joe Rogan. This is really, really good. Mm-hmm. And now I'm listening to some more Dan Carlin. That's with an N, not a G. Dan Carlin, Hardcore History. Listening to that right now. Okay. And it also scratches the military itch because it's about armies and people running around beating the snot out each other in most cases.
Okay.
And it's very, very good. So I listen to those sorts of things while I'm painting at the moment, and the occasional back report. But
I'm predominantly listening to 40k because I like it's like I said before, like market research for me.
Yeah. That's why Okay, some messages from wives have come through. We need to shut up.
Yeah.
You need to go.
You've just lost yours, and I've now got to get mine.
Yes.
I know which position I'd rather be in.
So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Check out Moarhammer on YouTube. I guess thank you to the patrons. What was the question?
Yeah.
Hopefully we answered many of your patron questions that came. I did say on the patron Discord chat that you can post the questions that you'd like us to try and answer here, but I promise we'll probably answer one.
But look, you've got a page of questions. We've gone through 2 or 3, so there'll be more of these videos.
Yes.
Many more, because we love drinking tea and chatting rubbish anyway.
Yes. So I think we better shut up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Happy wargaming.